He waited in the silence, not for applause, not for rescue, but for the right moment. He heard the noise, the lies, the chaos. He stayed still, because real strength, it doesn't chase the crowd. It listens, it watches, it waits. They thought he was broken, so they laughed, they pitied, they moved on. But he was never gone. No, he was just silent. And in that silence, he sharpened. For a forgotten king to rise again, his strength had to be buried in silence, not lost. They came to steal his birthright, to strip him of his name, to break his spirit. They did everything but take his life. And so he lived, hidden away in the shadows, watching and waiting, listening to the whispers on the wind, feeling the pulse of the world around him. He saw the good, the true, the beautiful, and he held on to it, nurtured it, let it grow until it became his strength. For he was born a king, and kings do not run from battles they are destined to win. He wasn't building revenge, he was building return. Return to what was his, and what would be his again. Return to those who needed him, to those who called out for help, to those who were suffering because the world had grown cold and dark. And he was becoming something more than a king. He was becoming hope. In the stillness of his aloneness, his resolve hardened. He embraced the solitude, the quiet hum of existence, the patient thrum of energy gathering. He didn't need an army. He didn't need weapons. All he needed was a chance. A moment when the scales would tip in favor of light, when the balance of the world would shift on its axis. He waited in the silence, not for applause, not for rescue, but for the right moment. And when it came, he would seize it. He would rise up and claim what was rightfully his. He would bring back the sun. He would be the warmth that chased away the growing frost. He would be the light that pierced the gathering gloom. His people would sing his praises. His name would be on every child's lips. They would tell stories of his courage, of his strength, of his sacrifice. They would hail him as a hero, but he would know the truth. He would carry the scars of his journey, the battles fought, the losses endured, the pain of a broken heart. For he was once betrayed by those he trusted, by those he loved, by those he gave his all to protect. They had taken everything from him, his kingdom, his family, his friends. But what they didn't realize was that in taking everything, they had forgotten one crucial thing. They had forgotten the king. But he wasn't broken. He wasn't defeated. He was merely biding his time, waiting for the right moment to strike back. He was gathering his strength, honing his skills, training his body and mind to become stronger, smarter, more cunning. He was like a coiled spring, ready to unleash his power upon those who had wronged him. He wasn't running away. He was gathering his forces, making alliances, forging new weapons and armor. He was building an army of loyal soldiers who would stand by him through thick and thin, who would fight alongside him until his enemies were vanquished. He wasn't crazy. He was determined. He had a clear vision of what he wanted to achieve, and he was willing to do whatever it took to get there. He was studying his enemies, their strengths and weaknesses, their resources and vulnerabilities. He was planning his moves carefully, making sure that every step he took was a step closer to his ultimate goal. They had underestimated him, thinking that he was weak and helpless. They had thought that he would crumble under the weight of his sorrow, that he would wither away into nothingness. But they were wrong. They had no idea who he really was, what he was capable of, how far he could go. They had forgotten the king, but he would remind them. He would show them who he was. With every beat of his heart, with every breath that rises from the ashes, the king prepares. A forgotten king is waking up. His strength was buried in silence, not lost.